Okay, so this week we're talking about language. Does it matter? Why does it matter? And I want to talk today about how we pronounce names that are unfamiliar to us. So this is something I think that impacts a lot of Western white people like myself. We come across names that are unfamiliar to us and we stumble over them, and then we get really embarrassed, which creates all sorts of behavior that perhaps makes things worse. So does it matter? Does it matter that I come across a name that I can't pronounce because it's from a culture that I'm not familiar with? Is it okay for me just to stumble through and keep getting it wrong, especially if it's a colleague who I meet frequently? Or just laugh it off, or perhaps say to the person, can I call you something different because that's easier, or perhaps we can give you a nickname to make it easy. Well, of course it matters, because it's a form of exclusion. It's a form of saying, it's not important for me to learn your name so that I can address you in the way that I address everybody else, so that you feel included within my workplace. And Professor Sian Chow from Toronto University, she's a postdoctorate there, actually has done research into this, and she talks about it as being an implicit form of discrimination. And what she says happens is when we do this is that we're minimalizing that person, and we're reinforcing a sense of, you don't belong here because your name is not the norm around here. And so it's important that we work hard to get this right if we want to build an inclusive workplace. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing is to ask somebody, how do I pronounce your name? Listen carefully, and then try and repeat it back. Maybe once, maybe twice, for the person to correct you. If you haven't nailed it by the second time, then leave it. Don't keep at it, because it just reinforces that the person is different and you see them as different. And don't try and engage in a really long conversation, perhaps because you're embarrassed about, oh, it's such an exotic name and what does it mean? And that's so different, it's so unfamiliar and hard for me. Because again, all you're doing is reinforcing a difference, and that the person isn't part of the norm, and therefore it leads to them feeling excluded, especially if they're in an environment where they're getting this 3, 4, 5 times a day from different people. So the next thing to think about is perhaps writing the name down phonetically so that you can practice. And then finally, asking others to help. So making it clear to people around you, if you hear me mispronouncing somebody's name, a colleague's name, can you please correct me, and keep correcting me until I get it right? And then perhaps equally asking other colleagues permission to also call out when you hear them mispronouncing people's name. If we do this, then we'll create a workplace where everybody feels included, no matter where they're from or what their name is. So I hope this helps. If you've got any comments, let us know.